Hi everyone. Today is the first U.S. trading day of September and the last month of the third quarter. We'll start with SPY today. Let's go first. We're going to look at the weekly candlestick where it's coming up. Let's actually take a look at the monthly formations because we are beginning a brand new month. This was how August ended. Look at that. So this is very important for us to stare down. This support ledge all the way down at 510, and then this very important congestion zone that is at around 550. We can maybe build an argument for a fatter congestion zone that begins at 536 or 534, where we have a thin area in the volume profile. But we can see everything is still very bullish from an overall formation. As we slip back into the week, what we can really see is a much more sideways event, but still bullish, that tells us, hey, listen, you want to buy the dips. Now, it's my impression that we don't head higher and stay there. It was my impression that we don't head higher, but now it's my impression that we don't head higher and stay there. So what I have to sit and think of is, okay, what's going on here that might cause a very big sideways patch that's about 30 points deep? We've got the Fed, we've got the election, we've got war, we've got, you name it, right? All the big fat, what about that kind of thing. And so as we stare this down, we have to look at what's going on in terms of balance. So here, I would have to say here is a very quick accumulation. Everybody's buying here and continuing to buy up, right? And so now we're sitting in an area now where we have a lot of balance. So here's the thing. Out of this edge, it's going to run higher, above 565. Below this 553-ish zone, we should head lower, right? And take us into the point of control, which is at 544, and then potentially the VWAP 530, right? This is a very messy patch in price action. So deep dips, buy zones, big spikes have been selling pressure events. Just, it's going to work until it doesn't. And so make sure that your stop is very tight when you're coming into this area near 564, where you can go, all right, I'm going to try and short it there, but if it goes above that 565, I've got to trim my gains. All right, Qs. Same sort of thing. We've got a flag pattern, which literally we can only see the sideways pressure on a much bigger chart. And the reason that I still think it's sideways pressure is because we failed and hit the 30 simple moving average. Here we are failing and breaking the 30, and now coming up into this congestion once more. So we're seeing a chart that's messy, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still bullish, right? It's still bullish. The range is a little bit different, and that's, something we're going to have to keep our eyes on. All right, now let's go to the ES ranges here in the Qs before I leave. 484 to 487 up here could give us a sell zone, and then you could start maybe a buying event at 470, but if it doesn't immediately start clipping, you've got to get out because it's a likelihood of fading back into the 452 area. All right, let's go to the ES. Okay, starting a look at the monthly, we began with a little bit of a fade here in the first part of the month. I'm going to move, you know what, I'm going to remove that. We don't need all the noise, right? Let's put that down at this wick here. Right now, you can see the same sort of thing. Essentially bullish, but these candlesticks with the wicks are telling us that we've got sideways pressure. So here's the storyboard. Above this 57.19 area. If it doesn't immediately collapse, it's going to start running because we've had weeks of motion sitting in this zone. Notice coming into the 30, getting back up to resistance, and then, do I potentially see us coming in to fill the low volume profile? Yes. My thought is the undercurrent is going to give us motion like this, but we'll see if I'm wrong over time, right? It's still my premise. Now, are we underneath the close of last week? Well, yes, we are. We're also under the open of last week, and we're under the close of 2 weeks prior. So we're in a little bit of a fade. This puts me in the mindset that our bounces are going to give us sell zones. Look at this sideways patch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trading days where we cannot get up over 56.62. Here's the fly in the ointment. See that upward trend? It's got to break for price action to continue down. Otherwise, traders are going to try and buy this zone of heavy congestion around that 5600 area, maybe 5608, and they're going to try and hold it in a range. So 5611, 5608, my thought, if I'm thinking about things, bounces are sell zones, but if we lose this edge at this 5611, 5608, it needs to quickly recover or we're going to have continued downside into 5568, right? Which is just above the point of control. We should be building out this profile in a very sideways, slushy formation. As long as we stay underneath a downward sloping hull, our bounces are going to be sell zones. That's the way the hull's going to do us. And the 30 is literally telling us, listen, we got sideways chop. So that's what we're staring down. NQ levels today, staring this down, still underneath here. Bounces are sell zones. This is a much weaker chart than the ES, right? And this is because of sector rotation. It's not because tech is not going to be ruling the roost. Tech will. It's just general sector rotation for the performance of other sectors that have been lagging. They're taking profit. And now we're looking at high, low, lower high, but a very likely heavy congestion event. What should it be? Bounces or sell zones. Where are the bounces? 19,786 to potentially the point of control, 19,635. 635 gives us the first nice short. 440 gives us the first, maybe 435 gives us the first long. But if we lose this upward formation, we've got a deeper structure to the south, right? Bounces or sell zones here into support. This is not a buy and hold formation at this particular juncture. YM. Now this guy, super strong, but have a look. I mean, double topping formations everywhere in the chart on the daily. From the weekly perspective, things look absolutely great. Pullback's going to be buy zones. Trend up, momentum slightly up, building a ton of volume right here, right? And if it's buying volume, it is going to continue. If it isn't, it's going to start breaking down and liquidate into areas where they're going to try to accumulate again. Remember, the goal of the market is to facilitate trade. And right now, everybody is sitting very sideways in this pocket. For this, see the higher, let me borrow this one. I'm going to turn it over here. Son of a gun. Right? And you're going to see the pullbacks or buy zones. What do we got? 41,200. My eyes aren't focusing this morning, right? But the deep dips going to give you buys here. That's going to be the easiest one of the bunch. Stop and take a look at these closer actions, and we'll see how all of that goes. Okay. that's going to be it. Let me take a look at the 1 hour. So again, take a look. Draw Fibonacci from top to bottom and bottom to top, and it's going to give you these extension spaces, trend first, and then target. So if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, maybe it'll bounce here. What's the trend? Down. That means it's going to bounce into resistance, so it's still a short. Don't buy these edges under this kind of formation. Okay? Just don't do it. Wrong. It's the wrong thing to do. Levels to watch. You can see them very nicely. Value area low. They're going to try and bounce there. So that's going to be a target on a short, not to pick the bottom at this juncture, because the bounces are going to give you sell zones. If you pick the bottom and it immediately collapses, you got to get out of the trade. All right? It's just not in your favor if it does that. All right, Qs, same thing. This thing looks like it's stopping at about the 3. So let me see if I can put a 3 in there. I'll put it here. Yep, stopping right about the 3. But again, sideways, breaking trend by time and not price. Unless it breaks and pulls back and gives you a higher low, you've got more downside. All right? So this is a decision zone. So you wait it out if you're looking for a long, because it's got the breakup over resistance. Otherwise, the bounce into that prior fib going to give you a short because everything is downward on the formation. All right, for the ES, same sort of thing. I'm not sure what we're waiting on, some kind of whatever, but we'll see it very cleanly. We're coming into the open in just a little bit. Sideways formations, bounces are going to give you sell zones today. In my mind, bounces are going to give you sell zones. If you want to take the counter trend long, I would say maybe try a 15-minute formation. Nope, that's still a shorting action. Maybe try a 5-minute formation and see if the price action gives you a bounce, a move up over congestion, and then a pullback that holds the point of control and the VWAP. All right, take care, everybody, and I'll see you on the screens.